Hey, I forgot to add myself to the stream. That kind of stinks, right? Hey guys, welcome to the Massive Iron channel. I forgot to add myself to the stream. And, when that happens, you can't see me. So, anyway, I hope you guys are doing okay. It is Friday, July 22nd. I appreciate everybody joining me. I'll stay on as long as you guys have questions. And just a few housekeeping notes. And I'm going to ask you guys a question. And if you anybody that answers the question, one of the people that answers the question is going to have a chance to win an additional Massive Iron t-shirt or hoodie or anything else like that. So hold tight for that. But if you're new here, just know that sometimes questions don't go through on the YouTubes, and not much I can do about it. It's just kind of YouTube can be funny at times, so hang tough. Try rephrasing your question. Try sending it through on Instagram. Let me get the banner going here. On Instagram, there we go. At Ben the Barman, at Ben the Barman. We've got a high-tech studio here with all kinds of things to click, and sometimes I get confused. So let me know where you guys are tuning in from, and how is it looking this weekend? Are you have a heat apocalypse? How's the heat? You guys lifting at all? Etc. So we are right just before we get going. We're right in the middle. I'm right in the middle of the 10-day lean and mean challenge. If you haven't seen hey Ben, how's it going? If you haven't seen Neo as well, we got all the good guys here. If you haven't seen the 10-day lean and mean challenge, check my Instagram. The link is in my bio on Instagram. You can also go to my website and search lean and mean. I am on day 10. And sometimes, as a content creator, I just let's put together a challenge. I'm out running. I'm delusional from the heat, right? I'm like, let me put together a challenge for myself and then offer it to the general public. So that's what I did with the lean and mean. It's basically, it's not super, low fat at all, but I tried to stick with the low. I'm trying to eat on the lower fat end of the meat scale so I can eat more calories. So I've been eating bison tonight. I'm eating venison. I'm tossing eggs in. Greek yogurt's pretty lean as well. And man, I am doing, excuse my honesty, but I'm doing nothing but pissing right now. I've lost 9 pounds in 5 days. Inflammation's gone. I feel pretty darn good. And I think some of it's just my insulin is regulating a little bit. Like I'm used to eating more rice, and I'm used to being a little bit more loose than I was with carbs. Not bad, but a little bit more loose than I was with carbs when I lost my 100 pounds. So my insulin's kind of doing some weird things. I'm getting those. I'm feeling warm at night, like my body's a furnace. And man, I've lost 9 pounds in 5 days, and I got 5 days ago. The hunger isn't bad. What I've been doing lately is I've actually been the last couple of days I've skipped the morning snack on the lean and mean challenge. For those of you guys tuning in, I'm talking about the lean and mean challenge, and last night I had 1,300 calories for dinner, more like 1,250. And then I had 2 Greek yogurts and some fruit. So I probably had more like 1,550. I'm not hungry when I go to bed. And I know it triggers some people on Instagram. Like, what are you doing eating only 1,500, 1,600 calories a day? It's a test. And, I'm not going to bed hungry. I'm not dying. I'm going out running for 2 hours a day and 4 hours tomorrow. I'm going to stick to it. So, my body is adapting really well. And honestly, I think I'm going to run it as long as I can stand to run it. Now, I talked to my wife, and I am probably, after 10 days, I'm probably going to have once a week where I allow myself sushi, which includes rice, just as a mental break, because I don't want this to turn into a burden. But that's probably what I'm going to do after 10 days. So, all right, here's the question. Here's the question. You can win a t-shirt or a hoodie if you answer it. And if you're new here, Don't be shy. Please post up a question. There are no dumb questions. There's only stupid questions, awkward questions, unusual questions, and questions you should be embarrassed about. Not really. So here's the question. And I want you to answer, and one person's going to get a chance to win a t-shirt or hoodie or anything else from my store. I don't care. Here it is. The rules of spotting. I want to make a video about this. What are the rules of spotters, or what are your pet peeves when it comes to people spotting you? What are the rules for spotters, and what are your pet peeves for people spotting you? Post that down below. All right, let's get into things. Let's get into things, you sassy people. It's Friday. It's a beautiful day in Ohio. Not a cloud in the sky. And it's like 8,000 degrees. Harut, how's it going, Harut? Welcome to the party. Hello, hello. And HB, have you got any new lifting goals after last week's marathon? Well, we kind of fell short. We had the goal of walk, run, hike, 42 kilometers or 26.2 miles last weekend, and I was doing pretty good. And then we got up on Sunday, and my goodness, it was pouring, just absolutely pouring. So we got a little bit of a break, and I looked at my wife and like, let's go. So we don't mind running in a little bit of rain, but we went out, and the second I got on the trail, it is like one of the worst pouring rains I've ever run in. And I got my trusty hat on, right? So the rain's coming down. It's saturating this salty hat. All the salt's pouring in my eyes. I can't see. Literally, I'm like, for 20 minutes, I can't see because I got so much salt on top of my head from my hat. It was pretty much hell, and it just poured. And the whole trail was like a river. We had to quit after an hour. It was just unbearable. I've never had to quit because of rain before, but the trail was a river, so on and so forth. So that's my boring life story. But goals. My goals this weekend is to walk, run, hike 6 miles. I've had a little bit of a weird knee issue with my right knee, so I haven't been able to push the running, but I've been pushing the activity level on the trail. Excuse me. I'm just going to randomly belch. I've been pushing the activity level on the trail up and up. My right knee feels really good today, so let's hope. I'm going to give it another week before I start running more. So I'm just going to try to get in 6 hours this weekend. So HB says, because progression is so much harder during a cut, would it make sense to do more body? No, it wouldn't make sense at all. You don't want to change your programming. And you don't want to move away from those exercises that are going to help you maintain muscle mass into stuff that is a little bit lighter. You really don't want to do that. The only thing you really want to do during a cut is what I tell my guys and what I've been telling people lately is if you're in the middle of a set of curls and you're on like rep 10 and you're like, hey, 11's going to, I can get 11, get 11. Take the easy reps during a cut, right? Don't push yourself over the edge super hard during a cut, and we're talking about a short-term cut. We're not talking about guys that need to lose, 50, 70 pounds. They should be ramming it. We're talking about guys that are on a mini cut, 5, 10, 15 pounds that are guys that are get in, get out, get it over with, get out. Those types of guys, I would save the big PR pushes for when you're back, off the cut. So take the easy reps. Don't push too hard on the hard stuff, and just save those bullets for when you're back off the cut. All right, HB, I'm going to go ahead and give you the free T-shirt or hoodie. HB posted a lot of questions. But each week, if you post a question before 11 o'clock, you get a chance to win a T-shirt and hoodie. And HB is in like Flynn this week. So HB, if you can DM me on Instagram at Ben the Barman, or email me benthebarman@gmail.com, I will hook you up. So our protein powders and creatine, the only supplements really worth buying. From a muscle building standpoint or strength building standpoint or just a general fitness standpoint, yeah, those are the two rock solids. From a general health From a general health standpoint, you might want to consider vitamin D as a backup, vitamin B12. I'm pretty much done with probiotics. The more I learn about probiotics, they're not junk, they're just not necessary. So vitamin D, vitamin B12. Fish oil has a lot of good science behind it, so it's probably not a bad thing. But yeah, really, I mean, that's it. There's not a lot. Don't waste your money on other stuff. Don't waste your money on test boosters or fat loss supplements. They aren't going to do crap. That's the bottom line. I really don't care what research is out there. We're talking about minor differences, and it's differences that are certainly not worth the money. Harut, anybody else's gym skimping on AC these days? I'll tell you, my home gym has no air circulation, no windows you can open. So it's like walking into Hell's Kitchen. Stein, how's it going? Stein, hope things are well with you. Always appreciate your support. JD, a client of mine. Thoughts on a raw lifter utilizing single ply briefs every few weeks to keep the hips and lower back in decent shape? Good question, JD. Let's see. About 7 years back, I got a pair of loose briefs. And when I say loose briefs, it's not like they're going to fall off. They just weren't super tight. They were snug, but not tight. And I would do some work with the briefs every other week. So when it comes to that sort of thing, I'm a fan every other week. I don't want you to get too far away from it, but it can allow you to use a little bit heavier weight. In my experience, maybe 30 or 40 pounds, like a bench press slingshot. And yeah, I'm not against it, but I would do it every other week, to be honest. HB, is there a reason for a lifter not to wear a belt for squats and deadlifts? Yeah, there are many reasons. If you can't brace, without a belt, there's no reason to use a belt. So a lot of squat videos I see, in specific, squat videos are more telling. You want to see like a visible and then a brace. If you can't see a visible big breath, usually I'm concerned that the person isn't bracing enough. So if you can't brace without a belt, there's really no reason to use a belt. In addition, sometimes when you put a belt on, it can bump into your ribs. It can be annoying. And I've never, I've used one minimally. I don't find it comfortable. I don't find it to be a benefit. I'm so used to, after 38 years bracing without a belt, that I just prefer it. So before we move on to Josh's comment, this right here, you can feel free to name my zit. I can't get that thing to go away. So that's my prize this week from doing the lean and mean challenge. I got that nice, juicy little. All right, Josh. Post-cycle therapy suggestions for megaroid cycles. For those of you that thinks Josh is trolling, there's some backstory to this, and it goes all the way back to a post by Jeffrey Verity Schofield. Josh commented on a post by Jeffrey Verity Schofield, and I believe somebody went after Josh saying, why don't you call out Josh? He's on megaroids or whatever. Josh, I don't know. Josh, I don't remember your weight. I believe it's in the 160s. You can look at Josh's avatar and you can tell he's pretty ripped. But of course, on the worldwide inner tubes, somebody looks at a picture and assumes you're on megaroids. I posted a Instagram photo. Let me see if I can actually bring it up here while I'm chatting. I posted an Instagram photo this week where I was kind of showing, people like what I look like in real life. Let me see if I can find it on here. I think I got things working again. What I look like in certain photos. Let's see. I think I got it here. All right, let me remove this. So this is what I posted earlier. this week. On the left is what people think you and Josh and me and look like in real life, like some roid monster. And the pictures on the right, the one in the middle was me at Alan Roberts Sit Fu for 6. And you can see the guy on my left. He actually looks just as big as I do, just not as lean. So you can tell like the difference between what I look like there and not pumped. Like when you're pumped and you have the right lighting and you have the vascularity going on and you post pictures on the internet, people are like, megaroids, right? Megaroids. You can see Josh's comment on their megaroids. People think you're like megaroids. The comments you get on YouTube can be very comical. Like, this guy takes megaroids. Yeah, megaroids, right? You can just tell from my picture it's all the megaroids. Right. So anyway, enough of that nonsense. Megaroids. The PCT after megaroid cycle would be a lot of pizza and maybe a couple beers for me. Patrick, I saw your Save Your Lower Back video. Appreciate your support, Patrick. That you do high incline for seated overhead press. I wouldn't call it high incline. I'd call it, it's basically just a seated overhead press. And I'm not trying to split hairs with you, but you have to have the back leaning back a little bit, or it's going to be really uncomfortable to do it seated. Doesn't this overemphasize the anterior delts, which get a lot of work from chest presses? No. You have to look at the big picture. It's a shotgun. You have to look at the big picture. All I ever did was seated presses, and my delts are monsters. My delts are monsters. Paul Carter actually posted on this the other day. Let me see if I can pull this up while I'm talking. But Paul Carter actually talked about this last night. And there are, me and Paul disagree on in certain things. But here, I'll pull it up for you guys. He was talking about he kind of sharing the same sentiments that I believe from my experience. Me and Paul both have a lot of experience. Where is here it is. I believe that's it. The video is not playing, so I don't know why. But Paul says this is not about Smith machine pressing. You can use any seated overhead press variation here. If you're following me for a while, often I bring up stability as a need for good hypertrophy, blah, blah, blah. So it's a really good post. And again, I don't agree with Paul on everything, but it's a really good post. The seated press is a great variation, and you're overthinking things a little bit. You're compartmentalizing body parts. Like if we move an angle back on the seat a little bit, it's going to way overstress the anterior delts, it's so on and so forth. So it's you guys are just worrying a little bit. You have to look at the bigger picture. That's something that when it comes to training, you have to look at the bigger picture. You have to look at all the exercises you're doing. And so just to point this out, because the poster made a mistake here. The anterior delt is a front delt. And, you have your side delts and you have your rear delts. The anterior delts are going to get hit. The front delts are going to get hit no matter what type of press you're doing. That's why we don't do any direct front raise. But the side delts are going to get the side delts because of the extra stability, and you generally can use about 10% more weight. And seated, you're really going to get good stability, good pressing power, and good development. Over the years, I've done maybe 10 sets of standing military presses. Don't like them. Don't like the instability. I like the stability on the seated overhead press. And my side delts are big. All you need to do is check my pictures for that. Christos, how's the lean mean challenge treating you? For me, it gets easier every day. Some of it's mental. Like the other day, we went to the gas station. I want to get a protein bar. So some of it's just like habit. You want you want to break that. You just want to stick to that habit. But it's going well. I mean, I'm sitting here there, you get a little bit of funky feeling in your head, and in your hormones are regulating a little bit insulin. So there are some things going on in the body that are a little bit funky. But I'm not like, OMG, I need to eat or I'm gonna die type of thing. Big Bob Fish, and my stomach just growled. I was spotting someone today on bench, and he said he's going for 3 to 4 reps. He went for a fourth, and the bar didn't move for about 4 to 5 seconds, and the guy told me off saying he had it. Was I at fault? No, you're not at fault. The thing with if you want to let the bar go back down to his chest, look, here's what I'll say. We have a tendency to overspot, or spotters have a tendency to overspot. So, I'd probably, when a rep slows, the next rep isn't going up. Okay. So if you are spotting, you need to watch bar speed. And let's say he had a slower rep previously, that means the next rep's going to fail. So I'm assuming the rep before this was slower. So either way, when you're spotting, don't touch the bar until it goes down. When you see it visibly go down, then touch the bar. And I'm not hammering on you, Big Bob Fish, but that's kind of the rule I would use. If the bar starts to go down, the dude's done. Grab it. Just keep your hands ready for that. Rico, how's it going, Rico? An affordable way to eat and still put on size. I live in Cali now. Move. That's the most affordable way, Rico. Move. Rico, move. Move from California. That'll save you money. Beyond that, rice and eggs are always a staple. Rice and eggs. And you have to find fat calories, healthy fat calories that can give you some good fats that are pretty budget friendly. So like big bags of cashews. Yeah, they look like $10-12, but you're eating a handful or two a day. That's like 300 calories. I find adding a little bit of cheese in, a little bit of protein, some fat, some good micronutrients. Look for sales, veggies. You just got to look for sales. Greek yogurt's pretty reasonable. I like Greek yogurt, plain Greek yogurt, and regular Greek yogurt. It's just high protein, and the cost isn't crazy. So rice and eggs are always a staple. And looking for meat, that is near expiration date, that's been marked down. Look for sales on veggies. Like if you have big juicy testicles and you really don't care what veggies you eat as long as you're getting in some veg, look for frozen veg because it'll last longer. Like in some cases, in rare cases, even canned, like mushrooms. I like eating mushrooms. I like the vitamin D. I like the potassium. But the problem with mushrooms is like when I get them from Kroger, they spoil in a day or two, and I'm wasting most of that cash. So frozen veggies make a lot more sense because they will last. So if you're not picky about veggies, just stroll through the frozen food section and find some veggies. You can find a lot of deals on chicken, and plain chicken stinks. But if you mix it with Greek yogurt, you get a lot of creaminess. You can add in jalapenos, hot sauce, some other veg, even a little bit of rice, and you're on your way to Happy Land. Pringle cake. Also, cheap knockoffs of VersaGrips are a game changer. Oh, yeah. Absolutely. In the UK, I think we were talking about Cobra grips. So if you guys have any other grips that are like that you use that are knockoffs, post it in the comments. What's going on? It's Friday and last vacation before the kids' school year. Let's get it. Yeah, I'm glad I'm past that, man. We're almost in August, and this summer's going to blow by, and then we'll, have more talk about monkeypox and the eighth wave of COVID and all kinds of happy horse shit. Neo, the answer is 42. Is that Hank Aaron's number? Alexa, what was Hank Aaron's number?
Show Aaron Mom Nancy, right?
No, Alexa. Alexa, what was Hank Aaron's jersey number?
There is no contact with this name.
Okay, Alexa's so useless, isn't she? Thanks, Neo. I appreciate it. Ben's been a client of mine. Ben and Neo have been clients of mine for a long time, and I really appreciate it. Not just being able to be there in their corner, but to get to know them as people. Lance, how's your hunger? Good. It's not so much hunger on the lean and mean as it is like my insulin going crazy. You're doing crazy water flush. So what happens is like when you start, I'm going lean and mean is really just some plant-based choices and mostly meat, Greek yogurt, and eggs. So when your insulin stabilizes a little bit, you tend to flush out sodium and water and all that extra inflammation, and it's been going crazy for me. So dealing with insulin, good insulin regulation, it's a good problem to have, and some fuzziness in the head, but overall not bad. Thankfully, it's a bit cooler. Mr. Tav Azlivjian, your opinion on high rep body weight stuff? Useless for muscle and strength building. And it doesn't mean all my clients have body weight stuff, so I'm not saying body weight stuff is useless. High rep is just useless. It's not my world. I'm in the muscle and strength building world, the power building world. If you like to do it, do it. I'm not telling you not to do it. All physical activity is good, right? All physical activity is good. So I'm not putting you down or making fun of your physical activity. I'm not fit shaming you or anything like that. But I am in a muscle and strength building lane, and it's useless. It's useless for muscle and strength building. If someone wants to build a lot of muscle on body weight stuff or build muscle, I hesitate to say a lot because I don't have any experience with that. But there are books out there with progressions and stuff like that. But the progressions are usually the key and not the reps. So before I move forward, guys, we're about 30 minutes in. I appreciate all your questions. Keep them coming. I'll stay on as long as you guys have questions. Please follow me on Instagram at Ben the Barman. I'd love to connect with you. And my website, check out the t-shirt tab. I've been adding a lot of t-shirts. I do this for fun. I don't do this to make a lot of money. I'm not an apparel salesman, right? I make t-shirts I want to wear. A lot of good t-shirts over there. This is the Crom shirt. Okay. I made the Crom shirt. Yes, I did the Crom shirt. I made the Crom shirt. It's pretty cool. I like it. And if you don't know what Crom is, watch Conan. So check out my t-shirts over on the website. I literally make like $5 off them. And look, here's the thing: like what you're going to get from me when you buy a shirt from me. I had a client this week, or a customer this week, whose shirt got held up in Portugal and never received it. I sent him 3. Okay. He didn't get his single shirt. I sent him 3 out, because that's the way I like to do business. If you're gonna support me, if FedEx or UPS or the mail drops the ball, I'm gonna hook you up. And I do that all the time. I do that, no questions asked on orders if they don't go through our resend. Where we at? Rick 00. I started the Lean and Mean Challenge. Nice, Rick. Great. Glad to have you on board. I started on Sunday and about 3 pounds down in 6 days. That's good, man. That's good. I'm glad to hear it. I hope you're getting in that nightly snack. I hope you're not going to bed early. So somebody's going to ask, again, if you haven't seen the Lean and Mean Challenge, check out my Instagram or head to my website and search Lean. It's basically a 10-day challenge where we're eating more leaner meats, eggs, yogurt, and plant-based choices. And no room, no wiggle room for processed food, fast food, junk food, no high or super high fat food like even bacon. Not that there's anything wrong with it, but we're trying to get more on the food volume side of things. KK, it's me. Don't you lose muscle with such low calories? No, that's a myth. Scientifically, there's such a fear. There's so many fears in the industry about losing gains, and people think you're going to lose gains on cuts. That's not true. The only way you're going to lose a trivial amount of muscle if you're really getting down to 5, 6, 7, 8% for show shape, and then you might lose a pound or two of muscle. But it's scientifically what we know in 2022. It's very difficult to lose muscle if you are training properly. Now, I'm not in a starvation diet. I'm eating 1,500 to 1,600 calories, and I feel fine. It is a low end of the scale for men. But no, I'm not losing muscle. And even if you would, muscle memory is your best. Even if you would lose a trivial amount of muscle memory is your friend, and it'll come back. So, this whole idea that if you do cardio or cut your calories too deep, that you're going to lose muscle, it's not founded in science. And KK, it's me, goes on to say no nuts in face. Okay, guys, get a room, guys. Noah, not lifting all the weight for me. Oh, we're talking about spotters. We're talking about spotters. I forgot I asked a question, and I'll keep this open. Sorry. I lost my focus there for a second. I asked a question. You guys can answer it, and one of the answers will win a Massive Iron t-shirt or hoodie. So what are the rules of spotting? What are the rules of spotting? KK, it's me, said no nuts in face. Yeah, keep those nuts away. The only time those nuts would be going in the face is if you got to grab that bar real quick, and then the other person doesn't care. Don't touch the bar unless I say so. I can't stress enough, if you're spotting someone, don't touch the damn bar. Don't even put a finger on the bar. Don't even slightly caress the bar. When the bar starts to dip, then you can grab it. Other than that, keep hands off. And Noah said not lifting all the weight for me. Exactly. Unless you're called in to do force reps. Don't touch the bar until I'm pinned. Amen. That's the big one. Do not touch the bar unless I tell you. And Jack has wear undergarments. Please. And now I got a rule for those of you that ask for spotters. All right, and I'm gonna use I'm gonna swear here. So you want to mute it if the kids are watching. You want to mute it if you're at work. You want to mute it. You might want to turn down the volume if you're in your car. If you ask for a spotter, if you know you're going to ask for a spotter at the gym, brush your fucking teeth. There's been a couple guys that I have spotted that they're breathing out during reps. And I'm like, what the? There was a female I coached. I'm not going to name names. She came to me and asked me to coach her for her first powerlifting meet. A lovely girl, just a wonderful human being, but good grief. Every time I would spot her on the bench press, eyes are twitching. It's like, whoa, we need some dental care. Y'all need to floss too. All right, pet peeves is when the spotter does too much of the lifting. Yes, sir. Casey, you only help unrack the weight. Don't touch the bar and help rack the weight unless told differently. Correct. Big Bill Monte, for spotting, give space for the lift. Only help with lift if requested. Do not touch the bar unless it's moving downward. Correct. Do not touch the bar unless it's moving downward. You have your hands ready, and if that bar starts to sink, then you grab it because that dude's in trouble. That elevator is speeding towards the basement. Josh, spotting only help on rack and re-rack if wanted. Buffalo, I always do dumbbell press, but I get asked to spot at times, and it's always people that get mad when they struggle and I pull it up. If you say give me this many and you try to get an extra, you can't. Big JD Johnson, have a discussion with your spotter as to how the spot will take place before the lift. True. And look, if I have somebody spot, I stand next to him and I politely but sternly say, "Dear kind sir, do not touch the fucking bar unless it starts to move down and I'm pinned." Rick, and I don't really say dear kind sir. My pet peeve for spotting is definitely shouting at me and being loud like we're in military training. Yeah, calm down. You're not there for moral support. I'm not gonna get the rep up no matter how much you yell. And we do that at powerlifting meets, but that's just general support. Sometimes you see them grind it out, but not in the gym. Vicious. It appears that from last live that flatulence is a common matter to all. Does it have any solution? Do you get more flatulent as you get stronger? No, I don't think there's a correlation there. KK, it's me. Are multivitamins a waste of time? This is a very hot discussion. I've heard both sides of the coin, and I will say that I've heard both sides of the coin. People say they're useless. People say they're a backup plan. And I err on the side. Look, we live in the obesity, the era of the obesity epidemic. We live in the era of processed food and crap food. And we live in the era where all our vegetables are sprayed with Roundup and we're pissing Roundup, right? We got so much against us. There's no downside, in my opinion, of taking a quality multivitamin. What are you going to waste $10 a month? I mean, I think it's a good idea. I don't think there's any downside to it. Free Worry 4. Are warm-up sets counted as a set? No, we're not really. And how hard should I be going? Warm-ups, thank you for tuning in. Warm-ups are meant to warm up the central nervous system and not fatigue you. So let's say I'm going to give this as an example, and I know some of you guys don't bench this, but you can kind of figure it out from here. If your first bench set is, let's say, 205 for max reps, let's say you're going for 7, 8, 6, 5, whatever. So you're starting with 205. Bar by 10, 135 by 6, maybe 160 by 4 to 5, 180, 185 by 2, and then go. So you want to kind of creep up in weight while creeping down in reps. The point is to wake up your central nervous system. That's the primary focus of warm-up sets. Your central nervous system works to recruit muscle fibers. If you went straight up you ever see somebody squat 600? If they went straight up to the bar on 600 and didn't warm up their central nervous system, they would be trying to squat 600 pounds without their central nervous system fully engaged. Your body doesn't know 600 is coming, so it hasn't had a chance to get that connection going between your brain and your muscle fibers. And it's generally not going to recruit a maximal amount of muscle fibers, so it increases the risk of injury. So no, you don't count them as sets, but you do not push them for a lot of reps. What's your thoughts on resistance bands? Useless. Resistance bands are about the most useless thing you can do. They're like last on the list. There are some applications you can use resistance bands to get in some high rep burnout work, and they can have some application, but if we're looking at the ladder of importance, resistance bands are at the bottom. They're just not efficient or very effective. I have trouble with my squats. My knees collapse in. Some of that's discipline applied over time. What I would advise you to do is join Team Massive. If you guys haven't checked out Team Massive, head over to superlivingtoday.com, check out the Team Massive tab, and join. It's a one-time fee, but basically you get micro coaching for life. I'm there answering questions. I'm there doing form reviews, and I will give you form help. And this is ongoing. I have guys that post every week or near every week, and I continue to help them. And you can come and go. Now, beyond that, you can sign up for coaching, and I can teach you. My clients, they can post exercise form videos every day. I'm there every day, and you can get help, but you need to get that sorted out by me or by a good coach. How can I get a better mind-muscle connection with forearm training? Don't worry about the mind-muscle connection. Worry about progressive overload. Worry about good form and progressive overload. Big, hairy, ugly dude. Love the live streams. Appreciate your support. I don't believe in Mensor's training methods, but was curious about his diet recommendations. Have you ever tried 60% carbs? Here's the thing about Mike. Okay, I'm not bashing on him, and I might be wrong. So you guys can correct me if I'm wrong. But a lot of Mike's philosophies evolved after he was big and strong. So, like his training protocols, a lot of that evolved after he's big and strong. Does that make them useless? No. That would be bad logic on my part. That would be a logical fallacy. But we need to understand that, some of Mike's training stuff came about, after he was already big. So we didn't necessarily use that to get big. Now, Mike was on a shit fuck ton of gear. At least enough to support that amazing physique. And back then, it was kind of the stone age of gear. Guys kind of piecing together cycles and listening to what other guys were doing. So I think if I took Mike's cycle, this is my theory, that I could eat 60% carbs for an extended period of time. The rest of you guys, don't do it. You need dietary balance. It's not just about getting in your protein to get in your protein for muscle. It's also about dietary balance. It's also about nutrients. So you want a good balance of protein and carbs and fats. And we got that already. Paul, 42 was Jackie Robinson. That's right. I don't know how I bonked that. And John Boxer says Google is greater than Alexa. I got this Alexa over here, and it's just absolutely useless. Just useless. I just like where, I think I bought this 4 years ago. Like the AI just sucks. You would think by now we'd be so more, the AI would be so much improved, but it's not. And Hank was 44. Thanks. I appreciate that. Guys, we're about 45 minutes in. Keep the questions coming. We got a lot in the stream, but I don't like doing the last call stuff because every time I do the last call, people post and I end up missing some. So if you're new here, I appreciate your support. Please post up a question. I'm here to help. And if you have a question, post it up now. No pain, no pain, no pain, no pain. Is there a method used to reduce finger strain on your pulling movements? I've never had finger strain. The only thing I can say is on pulling, you need to use VersaGrip Pros. If not, you're going to have a lot of grip issues, which is going to turn into a lot of elbow tendonitis. Thoughts on kind of clean food? No nitrate, minimally processed beef jerky. Yeah, for the 10 to 20%. The term clean food triggers people like somehow we can't process you know any gray areas in life anymore. But look, clean food is real food. It's plant-based, it's animal-based. I'm not tossing out the term process, but yeah. Like if I'm on a road trip, when you're on the road, like Quest bars and beef jerky are your best friend. And keto bread is far better than white sugar, white flour bread. Absolutely. So there's good, better, best. We always have to remember that good, better, best. Uh, you know, so some of that's road food, and as long as you're getting in a lot of quality nutrients with your regular food, then you're pretty safe. Wipe your sweat on so it don't drip on me, bro. Yeah, that's the spotting cue. Please wipe your sweat so it doesn't drip in somebody's face when you're spotting them. All right, Johnny. Speaking of muscle memory, I haven't lifted seriously in about 10 years. Can I get back to where I was fairly quickly? I don't know. You're at that borderline stage. Muscle memory works well when it's been, within a couple of years, but I don't know about 10 years. That's kind of pushing it. So I'm not sure how the body would react. Harut, would a weak lifter see greater hypertrophy in the beginning as he's gaining strength versus someone who starts with a greater strength baseline, both untrained? Generally, the guy with a greater strength baseline tends to have a little bit more natural muscle mass. There's a big correlation there. And what you see, I mean, when you see bigger guys, like this is not a rule, it's just a tendency. When you see guys that are bigger in weight, they tend to be stronger. One of the reasons why is when you put on fat, you're not generally just putting on fat. The body will also put on muscle. They did a study, I don't know, 15, 20 years ago on sumo wrestlers, and the study had a lot of flaws. But they were untrained sumo wrestlers, and they looked at the body composition, and they concluded untrained sumo wrestlers had as much lean muscle mass as natural bodybuilders. Now, I don't believe that. But I believe there are a lot of flaws in that study, from the measuring standpoint. But I do believe I do believe heavier people have more muscle mass than lighter people. So a lot of times when you see guys that are naturally strong, they might have had it's either genetics that they have more muscle. Then there's people like that out there. It's just life, or they were heavy and had more muscle. And some of this has to do with training style. Some people can get stronger, but their sets are super rapid, super rabbit speed, light speed, and they can do a lot of things that aren't conducive to hypertrophy, anti-hypertrophy, and they can build strength in those ranges, but it's not conducive for optimal hypertrophy. So I don't know. It's a very complex question, Harut. It really is. It depends on the individual and so many variables. No pain, no pain. Should I train to failure every set? No. Training to failure, I've made many, many, many videos on this. The demands of every exercise is different, so we never blanketly tell people to train to failure. There are some lifts you can train to failure on, and some you can't. What I tell people to do is push a set for as many quality reps as possible, stopping that set when you feel like you might fail on the next rep or when form starts to break down. Usually on squats and deads, I'm leaving a couple reps in the tank. There are certain exercises where you reach mechanical or form failure, like barbell rows without it being punishing, where speed starts to slow down. That's failure. Not punishing on the body generally. Bench press is the same way. Generally, when speed slows down, it's not very punishing. So focus on progressive overload and try to get in some sets where you're pushing for max safe reps. I want to start coaching in September. A schedule is changing. There's always openings. Every week, something happens. I had a guy last week. I had a guy lose his job, and I had somebody buy a house, or just things like that. I've had guys on for 4 years. Most of my clients stay on for 6 months. So every week there's an opening. I just don't generally advertise it, because if I advertise coaching openings, I end up getting 10 people applying, and I take on too many clients. So KK, usually I wait for folks like you to ask, and there's usually always an opening, so don't worry at all. One thing you can do is you can sign up today, and we can push the second payment to October. So you get your full coaching and you secure a spot. That's something you can do as well. Neil, do you prefer rest pause or drop? Rest pause 150,000%. They're different beasts. Rest pause is something you can use as bread and butter for hypertrophy. And drop sets are something that you can do more as a finisher. So you can do rest pause on like leg press or barbell curls, where you do your reps, max safe reps, you rest 10, 15 seconds, do more reps. And that's really good for hypertrophy. Drop sets are something you do like after the last set. Let's say you're doing bench, you're on your last set, you can have somebody strip plates and go at it. You can do pec deck, you could do a drop set. Dumbbells, you can do drop sets. That's more last set finisher type of stuff. Sebastian, how do you increase VO2 max with boxing? No idea. My lane is muscle and strength building. My lane is running. I have no idea. One thing I will tell you, I don't know anything about VO2 max, but one thing I can tell you in the running world or endurance world is that you can look up surging or 80-20, where you go hard 20% of the time and slow and steady 80% of the time. And the 20% where you're going hard and heavy for periods of 30 to 45 to 60 seconds, they'll bring up your base conditioning a little bit more, base speed, whatever you're going for. No pain, no pain. How does genetic potential work? Well, stupid simple. You can't keep gaining muscle forever. It's not efficient for the body. If you think about it, if you get super strong, you start to, like, the stronger you get, the harder it gets to gain strength, because just from a common sense standpoint, there's so many systems in the body of connective tissue, central nervous system. So you might be getting the muscle strong, but other areas are going to take a punishment. Weight is punishing. The body is physiologically only set up to handle so much weight. We're not a brontosaurus, right? We are what we are. So physiologically, there are limits. Anybody that tells you there isn't is ignorant. We're not a fucking brontosaurus, right? We are what we are as a species. And yes, you can generally, strength standards are going up, but you're not going to be able to lift the sun on, if we keep at it, we're not going to be able to lift the sun on our back, in like 10 years. That's not how it works. So physiologically, it's not efficient. Why would the body put on another 100 pounds of muscle? Because you're not going to be any stronger than you were, with 70 pounds of muscle less. So it's just a point of no return. The body is just not set up physiologically to handle more than it can. And this has been proven by studies. And it's easier to gain strength than it is size once you are close to your potential, because there's other variables. You can improve form, you can improve programming, but improving your form and improving your programming isn't going to help you add extra muscle if you're close to natural potential. Cornerstone City, if you use more creatine, do you have more strength? Well, creatine is like a 1%er. It'll help you with brain function. It'll help you with energy, and it might help you get an extra rep. But it's really not the case from what I understand. Rico in California, try some of the Asian supermarkets. Big Bill, I like picking your brain on new progression. Have at it, man. I mean, that's my meat and potatoes. I love training. I love programming. I should say I love programming. I love workouts. I love to come up with new stuff just because it's fun, and you come up with new stuff, and it just opens doors. You don't know what you're going to find that you really like. Mr. Mahoney, Mahoney, why is a pause usually encouraged with bench to eliminate the stretch reflex? Look, in coaching, here's where I advocate pauses in the real world. Where I advocate, like, you're going to have your degree of tightness, and lifters that aren't tight on the bench or squat, when they go down, they should try using a pause because it forces you to stay tighter. This is what you're posting is way overthinking. I don't see anybody encouraging a pause to eliminate the stretch reflex. I don't see you're going to be tight in the hole on bench. I don't know what that one person that's saying this, but it's way overthinking. All this is just, it's like somebody trying to create a calculus formula to solve 1 + 1. Where a pause is beneficial is if you see these dive bombing benchers and they have no tightness at all. They have no back tightness, no upper body tightness, and they're just beating the living crap out of their joints over time. So a pause forces you to try to stay tight. If you're not tight, you're going to really struggle with pause bench. Same with a squat. If I have somebody that's super undisciplined or dive bombing on squats, I want them to pause, because if you don't stay tight on a squat, you're going to fold. So it's a good tool for helping people to learn how to stay tight. And in some cases, on the squat, it makes the squat more intense from a hypertrophy standpoint. The bench, not so much, not as much as the squat. Can I eat in a deficit and build muscle? Okay. Most cuts are short term, so the question doesn't matter. In the real world, you still have to train. Some people can build, like if you're new to training, you can build a small amount of muscle mass while in a deficit, but it's not efficient or effective or a long-term strategy. Everybody that's put on a lot of size has put on weight. So don't get into that mindset. Don't try to do it. What's your weight? I want you to post your weight, Free Warrior, and your height. Don't try to do this stuff. Don't try to do both at the same time. It's not efficient, it's not effective, and it's a complete waste of time. It's trivial. My clients, where I see their weight going like this, I know they're leaving gains on the table. Do the right way. Don't try to create a new way. This new way has never worked. It's never worked for decades, and people continue to believe like it's too, like, I'm not saying you believe. You're asking the question, but many people still believe. Johnny, do warm-up sets only apply in the first set of your workout? If I'm doing chest and back, do I warm up on bench and then warm up on rows? Well, on big compound lifts, you have to warm up. There's other things other than warming up your central nervous system. When you move on to a big compound lift, you want to kind of warm up your system for that lift, but you're also checking to make sure everything feels good. You're also making sure that you're also getting connected mentally with the lift, and you're making sure things feel good. All right, guys, I got about 5 questions left, so post up your questions. And before I go, I'm going to have to pick the T-shirt winner. The T-shirt winner for the question is going to be KK, it's me. KK, it's me. If you're watching, you won the T-shirt or hoodie from the question today. So hit me up on Instagram at Ben the Barman, at Ben the Barman. Raphael, do you recommend doing 4 or 5 sets of one exercise, or is 3 enough? Raphael, I just made a video this week about sets per. It was my video about the 3x10. So watch that video. That's going to explain it in a good 10 minutes. It's exercise by exercise basis, and some of it's evolutionary in nature. The Satera, I have pain directly under my collarbone. Doesn't get worse or better. Been there for 6 months. That's a weird. I'm not saying it's not tendonitis. I'm not a doctor. I'm just saying that would be a weird place to get tendonitis. So it could be some form of impingement or tear that didn't heal properly. The only thing I would say is if you have long-term pain, that's a strange pain. You either need to deal with it or go see a doctor. I'd go see a doctor. Easy. I appreciate. Excuse me. I appreciate your video, Roberta. Let me get some. Rebirth of the body part split. I finally stopped the high frequency full body BS and experiencing better gains. I'm glad to hear that. I'm glad to hear that you stepped out on a ledge and forged your own path and tested it out. It doesn't really matter how anyone trains, as long as they find a way of training they like. I like body part splits, and that's all I'll ever do, and it served me well. And all I found out is that it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter because there's bigger issues than muscle protein synthesis and training frequency. All right, last call, guys. Last call. This is the last question. I'm 200, 5'11". My goal is to be 215. Free warrior. I would, and you're about at 22% body fat. Don't try to do the maintenance thing. Check out my book, my PDF, Massive Bulking. It's got a lot of content for the price. It's not just a single page PDF. And I go over how to maximize bulking, stay around the same weight, and improve your body composition. Basically, you gain 10 pounds over hard training, 3, 4, 5 months. And then you do a quick mini cut of 10 pounds and you repeat the cycle. So over time, you're bulking at least 10 months out of the year, but at the end of the year, your weight's the same. So check that out. That would be perfect for you. Rick 00, before I started focusing on progression, I was doing a lot of volume and not getting sore or results. Your body adapted. Now I do about 10 sets per week and I'm progressing like crazy. I'm happy to hear that. You are on the path to glory, my friend, and stay on there. Eric, Epic. Sorry, I said Eric. What's the recommended number of sleep we should be getting? Well, that's a good question because too many guys are lifters. Let me not use guys or pronouns. He, she, they, whatever. Too many lifters. I have a lot of females that I coach, so I apologize. I just use guys in a general sense. We don't take sleep serious enough. And it's like if you want the best gains, you need to be crushing nutrition and crushing your sleep and crushing your workouts. That'll be beneficial. The minimum, I'd say, if you can, I set the alarm clock for at least 8.5 hours from when heads down on a pillow, lights out. So it doesn't matter if you're clicking on your phone, right? 8.5 hours. So if I'm going to bed at 9:30, 6 o'clock would be 8.5 hours. I'll set the alarm for 6. If you have to be up by a certain time, make sure you're getting in bed at least 8.5 hours before that. A free warrior. Okay, the link in your description or on your website. Are you talking about the lean and mean? In my link on Instagram, there's in my bio, there's a link to the lean and mean. You can also go to my website up here, Super Living Today, and just search lean mean. You'll be able to find it. If you're talking about the bulking PDF, just go over here and search bulk in the search box. All right, guys, that's it. I appreciate you guys. Oh, for the bulking. Yep. Go to the website and search massive bulking or bulk. And if you can't find it, just hit me up on Instagram or email benthebarman@gmail.com, and I'll send you the link. I appreciate it. That's it, guys. I appreciate you joining me. Please come back every Friday. I'm headed toward 100,000 subscribers. I sincerely appreciate the support. If you guys are interested in doing your first powerlifting meet, check out Instagram at Ben the Barman. I'm going to be taking on 3 people that I'm going to be helping them train for their first powerlifting meet. I got plenty. If you're looking for a new workout, I got tons of workout ideas over here. Tons of workout PDFs. Just check the workout tab. I got a bulking PDF. I got a fat loss PDF. I got tons of good stuff. I got tons of t-shirts, like the Crom. And I make a couple bucks off them. So I appreciate your guys' support, and I'll see you next time.
It's not almost over. You're not almost there. You're not almost there. You're not almost there.